Hello and welcome to Competology Academy, and today we are going to discuss the second part of Revolts of Jharkhand. And here for the first part you can go on to visit the playlist of our YouTube channel. There you will find the first part of the Revolts of Jharkhand as well as the various other informative videos are available over there. You will find the different playlists related to the personalities, the tribal administrative system, different tribes of Jharkhand and various other things, right? Those are going to be very helpful for your preparation for the government exams that are conducted by the Jharkhand government, right? So here let us start with the video and watch the video till the end. Here you will find the information about the Ramgarh revolt, the Tamar revolt, the Chuad revolt, and later on we will discuss the other revolts in the coming videos, right? So here if you have not subscribed the channel, then please consider subscribing the channel for getting such kind of informative videos. So here first of all the Ramgarh rebellion. So this Ramgarh rebellion was not a tribal rebellion, but it was a rebellion by a king, right? So the ruler of Ramgarh had rebelliated against the British Empire, or you can say the company. Initially there was the company rule. East India Company was ruling the region, ruling the whole India. Only after 1857 the British Empire, the crown, proclaimed the authority over Indian territories of the company. So in Hazaribagh region, the company faced the major opposition from Ramgarh state. The complete state of Ramgarh had revolted against them, and here Raja Mukund Singh was the ruler of Ramgarh at that very time. He was opposing the British from the beginning itself. So in 1765 the British got the Diwani rights of the region, and thereafter they started to expand their authority. Initially they were located in the Calcutta region. Over there their authority was there, but after the Battle of Buxar and thereafter the Treaty of Allahabad in 1765, they started to establish their authority over the different kingdoms, different empires and the rulers. And those rulers were not in favor of relinquishing their freedom, their independence. So they used to revolt against the company, and initially the company faced the same kind of opposition from the Ramgarh state of Jharkhand. And since the beginning, the ruler of Ramgarh state, Raja Mukund Singh, was against submitting in front of the Britishers since the beginning. And on 25th of October 1772, just after 7 years of getting the Diwani rights of the region, what they did, the Britishers attacked the Ramgarh state from two sides. And basically here again the treachery was one of the major thing, like that had happened in Bengal itself with the Mir Jafar and Mir Qasim. The British had collaborated and thereafter they had defeated the ruler of Bengal, that is Rajuddaulah. The same thing had happened over here also. And here what happened, the Britishers collaborated with one of the treacherous element of the ruler family itself, Raja Mukund Singh's one of the relative and one of the confident person, Tej Singh. Tej Singh sided with the Britishers, and what happened, on behalf of Chota Nagpur Khas, Captain Jacob Comic and Tej Singh from the other side attacked the Ramgarh state simultaneously, right? And here on 27th and 28th of October both the armies reached the capital of Ramgarh state. And here at the seat of power, Ramgarh Raja Mukund Singh had to flee due to his weak position, because Tej Singh was well known about the armed forces strength of Raja Mukund Singh, what kind of arms he have, what is the strength of his army and how they can defeat him, and all this information was passed on to the company by Tej Singh. And due to this, the ruler of Ramgarh, Mukund Singh, got defeated quite easily, and due to his inevitable defeat, he had to flee the region. So he fled from the region, and in 1774 AD, Tej Singh was declared the king of Ramgarh. So basically this was the allurement which was given to Tej Singh by the company, that if you will support us to get the control of Ramgarh state and to defeat Raja Mukund Singh, the then ruler of Ramgarh, then we will make you the king of the kingdom. And that thing happened in 1774. And apart from Mukund Singh, many of his relatives were also active in the region to regain their lost power. So basically, after fleeing the region, Mukund Singh was actively trying to regain his position, regain his empire. And when he was the king, he had made many of his relatives, various officials in the kingdom, Jagirdars, Jamindars, or regional governors of the Parganas, whatever it is. So they all had lost their position also. His relatives had also lost their position. So they sided with Mukund Singh to gain their lost power and authority in the region back. But Tej Singh died in the meantime in September 1774. So he had done too much, but he was unable to enjoy the fruits of his treachery, right? And his son, however, Tej Singh's son, Parasnath Singh, was declared as the king. He ascended to the throne. He was made the king of Ramgarh by the company, right? And here Mukund Singh was busy in preparing to attack him, Parasnath Singh. He was preparing to attack Parasnath Singh, Mukund Singh, and he was supported by his supporters, relatives, but he was not getting the success due to the British company. The East India Company was continuously supporting Parasnath Singh because the company was getting a handsome amount of revenue yearly from Parasnath Singh, and for that matter, they had to support Parasnath Singh. Otherwise, from where they would get the money? Because their main motive was to make money in this region. So they were supporting Parasnath Singh, and on 18th March 1778, the English army captured Mukund Singh's queen and all his key relatives from Palamu. So basically, Mukund Singh, when fled from Ramgarh, he had reached out to Palamu and he was hiding over there. He had kept his family members and relatives also over there. So basically, the British Empire was outcropping or growing outward from the Bengal region. So gradually it was moving westward. It was getting stretched westward. So first of all, under their influence came the Ramgarh region. Thereafter they reached out to Palamu, and when they reached out to Palamu, then they captured the queen of Mukund Singh and his key relatives also. But this infuriated the subjects of Mukund Singh. The subjects of Mukund Singh, basically what used to be at that very time, even the subjects used to consider their queen like a mother, as well as the women are respected even today at present time in India. So the subjects got infuriated because of this act of Britishers that they had captured their queen mother. And for that matter, what happened? By the end of 1778, there was a state of unrest in entire Ramgarh state. The subjects revolted against the Britishers as well as Parasnath Singh. So here, Ramgarh Raja Parasnath Singh was not able to pay the annual revenue of 71,000 rupees due to revolt, due to unrest and various other reasons. And this amount was fixed by the Britishers, which they can take by any way. They can extract from him in any way. So despite this inability to pay 71,000 rupees revenue, annual revenue to the Britishers, the collector of Ramgarh raised the revenue amount to 81,000 yearly in 1778. The king was unable to pay 71,000, but in 1778, the collector of the Ramgarh increased the revenue demand from the king to 81,000. 10,000 rupees और बढ़ा दिए. Earlier he was unable to pay 71. Now it has been raised to 81, and this position remained intact until 1790. So this demand remained as high as 81,000 till the 1970 AD, and you may think that this is a major amount, but you can understand that this is around 250 years ago case, right? So here, under the leadership of Thakur Raghunath Singh, a supporter of deposed King Mukund Singh, the rebellious elements came out in the state of Ramgarh and they threatened the position of the present king or ruler of Ramgarh state, that is Parasnath Singh. What they did, Raghunath Singh captured 4 parganas and drove out the Jagirdars appointed by Parasnath Singh from there. So basically he started to capture the area of the kingdom and started to control that. But here again the British will come into picture because the Britishers were getting the money from Parasnath Singh. So anyhow they had to protect him, whether he was unable to pay, whether he was delaying the payment, but still they were getting the revenue from Parasnath Singh, but not the Raghunath Singh or Mukund Singh. So they will have to protect him. So they did the same. Captain Ackerman's battalion was called upon to suppress the rebellion. So Captain Ackerman came into action to suppress the rebellion in Ramgarh, and Ackerman and Leigh Daniels captured Raghunath Singh along with his key followers. After the army was called, then Raghunath Singh got captured along with his key supporters, his key rebellious elements, and Raghunath Singh was sent to Chittagong. So it was a simple theory of the Britishers to send any of the rebellion's leader to such a far-flung area that he is not in connection, he is not in contact with the rebellious elements, so he will not be in a position to lead any further rebellion. Same technique was used with Raghunath Singh. And the task for protecting the Ramgarh was handed over to Captain Crawford. Now onwards, Captain Crawford was stationed in Ramgarh to protect it, and here King Parasnath of Ramgarh now started thinking of a way out because he was not in position to pay 71,000. Now he was forced to pay 81,000. So he was thinking that somehow if I will become independent, if I will not have to pay any money to the Britishers, then it would be a better thing for me. So he thought that why not to do the rebellion, why not to rebel against the Britishers. So such kind of thoughts started to crop in his mind, and in 1781 he assisted Chet Singh. Till this time the Britishers reached Banaras. So the king of Banaras, Chet Singh, also rebelled against the Britishers. Initially all the king used to resist the establishment of control over their empire by the Britishers, but eventually they had to deliver because they were not in a position to fight with the Britishers. Same thing happened with the Chet Singh of Banaras, and here again the Chet Singh was helped by, assisted by the king of Ramgarh, that is Parasnath Singh, right? And to consolidate his position, to become efficient to rebel against the Britishers, king embarked on a campaign to consolidate his military power by saving a part of annual tax he was collecting from his kingdom. So he started to save some money from the revenue that he was collecting annually from his kingdom, and which he had to deposit with the Britishers. So he started to siphon off some of the money and he started to invest it on strengthening his army, to get some arms for his army, to train his army and whatever it is. So he was trying a way out, and for that matter he was consolidating his position, right? And here by the end of 1781 AD there was a revolt in the whole of Ramgarh, and this revolt of 1781 further weakened the position of Parasnath Singh, because again the armed forces had to be called upon by the Britishers, and here the collector of Ramgarh requested the military support from the government to bring it under the control. So from the existing manpower, existing defense forces, the collector of Ramgarh was unable to suppress the rebellion, and for that matter he had to ask for the military support from the government, and the military was called upon. And by 1782 AD, many areas of Ramgarh were devastated due to this warlike situation. Continuous war was going on, and if the military is called upon in any area, then they don't think about the civilians. They just know one thing: this much of the area is infected, surround it and blast it. So eradicate the whole thing. So such of the approach was used in Ramgarh also, and for that matter, what happened? Due to this devastation and due to this insecurity to their life, the Revolts started to flee the region. The farmers started to flee the region. They started to out-migrate from there, and they started to become a refugee. Like what happens in the present day time, due to the war in any of the region, the people of that region used to out-migrate from that region, whether it is Asia, whether it is Middle East, whether it is Europe, whether it is Myanmar, wherever it is, whether it is Africa. So the people, the civilians from that region will try to escape from the war zone, and for that matter they will flee the region. The same thing was done by the Revolts, and for that matter the collector of Ramgarh was concerned that we have to bring the situation under control, because if the Revolts will flee from the region, then who will do the cultivation in the region? Who will do the farming in that region? And for that matter, the main source of the revenue at that very time was the agriculture sector itself. So they had to prevent the out-migration, control the out-migration of the Revolts from the region, so that in future, after the rebellion will be over, they will cultivate the region and they will pay the revenue to the British Empire, right? So Deputy Collector G. Dallas urged the government to free the king of Ramgarh from revenue collection and make the direct arrangement for the revenue collection with the Jamindars and Jagirdars itself. So here the G. Dallas, the collector of Ramgarh, was of the view that because the revenue is being collected by the king of Ramgarh, and because of that he gets some money in his hand which he can siphon off to strengthen his armed forces, and if he will not be in position to collect the revenue, then he will not have any extra resource to fund his rebellious work. And for that matter, he requested the government that he should be freed from the revenue collection, he should be made a pensioner, and the government should collect the revenue from the Jamindars and Jagirdars directly, right? So this was the view of the collector, deputy collector of Ramgarh, that is G. Dallas. He was at that very time the deputy collector. Now, despite the strong opposition by the Raja of Ramgarh, Collector G. Dallas made a special arrangement with the Jagirdars and stopped the confiscation of their Jagir by the Raja. So who the Jagirdar was unable to pay the revenue to the king, the Raja, the Jagirs of those Jagirdars were being confiscated by the king, that is Parasnath Singh, for the non-payment of the revenue, non-payment of the lagan or the tax. And this process of confiscation of the land, the Jagirs, by the king was banned, was stopped by the deputy collector G. Dallas, and he made a special arrangement to collect the revenue directly from the Jagirdars. And because of this arrangement, the Jagirdars became happy. मेरा तो अब कोई property लेगा नहीं. There is no threat to our existence, no threat to our income, no threat to our land. So they sided with the Britishers, and this further weakened the position of the king of Ramgarh, and thereafter the king of Ramgarh just became a mask now onwards, on whose name the actual rule was being run by the Britishers, right? So this was the situation. Now what happened? Further, Faujdari court was established in this region in 1776. Diwani court was established in 1799, and the position of king got further weakened because earlier the revenue work was snatched off from the king. Thereafter, the criminal and the civil adjudication authority, judicial power were also taken off, snatched away from the king. So thereafter he just became, ठीक है भैया जी रहे हैं वाला हिसाब हो गया, right? So here, taking the advantage of this situation, the zamindars of Tamar continued to attack the Ramgarh state because they were also in angry with the king of Ramgarh, and now he was just a mask, he was having no power, nothing like that. And when the king Jamindars of Tamar revolted against the Britishers, they started to attack the king of Ramgarh also, Parasnath also. And the king became completely dependent on the Britishers because he was not having the revenue, he was not having the Faujdari rights, he was not having the Diwani rights. He was just a mask who was completely dependent on the Britishers, right? And this situation persisted until the early 19th century. Same condition continued till early 19th century. Now come to Tamar rebellion of 1782 to 1820, right? So here the main reason of this rebellion was deprivation of the tribals of their land. Basically their land was being confiscated, and tribal were of the view that Jal, Jungle and Jameen is our permanent right, our ancestral right and our eternal right, and nobody can take it away from us. And here the Britishers were basically depriving them from their land because of the non-payment of the Lagan or the land tax, and this had infuriated the tribals. So they revolted against the Britishers, and they were also being exploited by the company, by the Tehsildars, by the Jamindars and non-tribals, that is Dikus. We have discussed in detail that who are the Dikus, who are the Sadans and who are the tribals, and their definition, their characteristics, their attributes in Jharkhand. And you can go to the playlist in the history of Jharkhand. You will find the detailed discussion on Dikus, Sadans and the tribals. And here the Dikus just get a passing reference, where the outsiders who were purchasing the land through auction of the confiscated land. So whenever the British government used to auction the confiscated land of the tribals, the Dikus, the outsiders, they were from Bengal or any other region, who were the money lenders or Mahajans. They used to purchase the land just to make profit, and they were collecting the land revenue in a sunset rule. Sham tak dena and otherwise get lost. So thus these kind of things were going on. So here what happened? They were being exploited, the tribals were being exploited by all this. And here the revolt began in 1782 against the exploitation of the Jamindars by the Oraon tribe of Chota Nagpur. So in the Tamar rebellion, the Oraon were the main participants, Oraon tribals were the main participants, and this lasted, this initial phase of the rebellion lasted till 1794, and some arrangements were made between the tribals and the Britishers, because of which for a short duration the tribal revolt got fizzled out. And the leader of this rebellion was Thakur Bholanath Singh. He was the leader of this Tamar rebellion. And in 1809 the British arranged for a Jamindari police force to establish the peace in the Chota Nagpur, but this was of no use. So basically this Jamindari police force was a police force of Lathats or some kind of this. Movies में भी हम लोग देखते हैं ना, that two gunmen of double barrel guns, where there is the Jamindars in the old movies. So likewise, that was the Jamindari police force which was established and which was there with the Jamindars to stop any rebellion, to control any rebellion in any region. And for that matter, some part of the revenue was left with the Jamindars to maintain this Jamindari police, right? But even after this, in 1807, 1811, 1817 and 1820, the Mundas and the Urao tribe revolted against the landlords and the Dikus again and again. Several waves of revolt were there, right? Phases of revolt. Mundas revolted under the disgruntled Mankis of Tamad in 1807 and Rugu and Konanta in 1819 and 20. So basically in the tribal administrative system you will get the detail of this, that the Mundas are the village headmen who used to collect the land revenue, and thereafter they used to submit it to the Mankis, and thereafter the Mankis used to submit it to the Britishers. This was the arrangement. But here initially this arrangement was not there, later on it was made, and even after it was established, what happened? Many of the times the Mundas or the Mankis were unable to pay their land revenue to the Britishers, and in such cases their land was being confiscated, which they used to consider as a eternal right, and because of that they started to revolt, and the Mankis were the higher authority than the Mundas, so they were the traditional leaders of the Mundas, and that is why the Mundas revolted under the leadership of the Mankis, disgruntled Mankis. Now come to the Tilka movement of 1783 to 1785. So this took place in the Santhal Pargana region, and here the main objective was to protect the tribal autonomy and to drive the Britishers out of their area. So basically, initially the Britishers were interfering in their traditional way of life. Thereafter they started to collect the land revenue forcefully. Thereafter they started to depose the tribals who were unable to pay the land. So such kind of interferences were going on, and because of this, what happened here, that the tribals revolted against the Britishers, right? And here they looted the English treasury and distributed it among the poor peoples. They were not just rebelling against the Britishers, but they in fact looted the British treasury. British खजाने को ही लूट लिए, and they distributed the whole amount, the whole proceed among the poor people. So this was done by them, and Tilka Manjhi led the guerrilla warfare. You all know about the guerrilla warfare. We have already discussed this method of warfare in the earlier videos. So here the Tilka Manjhi was using the guerrilla warfare from the hills of the Sultanganj. Right now the Sultanganj is in the that of Bihar. Right. So here Augustine Cleveland was leading the British army, who was hit by the arrow of Tilka Manjhi. So basically what happens, if a white man was being hit by a tribal's arrow, then it was a great matter of shame for them, and to set an example, they used to use their complete force to get that person and to hang him. And the same thing was done over here also. So in 1785 AD, Tilka Manjhi was arrested fraudulently. Basically what happened, one of his known person who was knowing about his whereabouts and his movements, he was lured by the British government that you will not be punished, in fact you will be rewarded. So if you give the information about Tilka Manjhi and if we will catch him, then all these privileges will be provided to you. So that person sided with the Britishers, and fraudulently Tilka Manjhi was arrested and he was hanged on a banyan tree in Bhagalpur. And still in Bhagalpur there is a Tilka Manjhi Chowk. A statue of him has been installed over there. And Tilka Manjhi was the first rebel martyr of Indian freedom struggle. Right. So here in the history books of Jharkhand you will find this, right? And here women also participated in the Tilka rebellion. So it was not a rebellion that was dominated by the male people only, but in this rebellion the women also participated with Tilka Manjhi against the rebel against the Britishers, right? So this was the whole information about the Tilka movement. Now come to the Chuad movement, and why does this name Chuad was given to this people? We have already discussed this in our earlier videos of history of Jharkhand, right? So here this started due to the famine, rent increase, the auction of the land and other economic distresses in the region. Basically in the Manbhum region what was happening, there was a situation of flood, drought. So here famine was there and the loss of crop had already been there with the tribals, and they were unable to pay the revenue, the land rent. And even in the situation when they were not in a position to pay the regular land rent, the land rent was increased. And in case of non-payment of land rent, their land was being auctioned to the outsiders, the money lenders, the Mahajans and the Dikus. And this created a further deplorable condition for the tribals. Their economic distress increased further. And for that matter, the prominent leaders led the rebellion against the British government. And who were the leaders? Raghunath Mehto, Syam Ganjam, Subal Singh, Jagannath Patar, Mangal Singh, Durjan Singh, Lal Singh, Mohan Singh. So all these people were the leaders of this Chuad rebellion. However, the main leader of this Chuad rebellion was Raghunath Mehto, who gave the slogan Apna Gaon Apna Raj, Dur Bhagao Videshi Raj. So mug up this slogan. Who gave this slogan? Raghunath Mehto. In 1769, he gave this slogan Apna Gaon Apna Raj, Dur Bhagao Videshi Raj. So in April 1798, the Chuads of Ghatsila, Bundu, Mandalkhand, Purugram, etc., all these people rebelled, and the Chuad of Midnapur revived the rebellion in the Jangal Mahal areas of Birbhum district also, and this is in Bengal. So at that very time there was no clear-cut demarcation of the borders of Bihar and Bengal and Jharkhand and all those states which were the part of Bengal presidency at that very time. So the rebellious elements used to move throughout the Bengal region of Bengal presidency, what was at that very time. So the influence of Chuad rebellion was not limited to the regions of Jharkhand only, but it had influenced and it had spread in the regions of Bengal, Chik and Paike in the Bankura, Midnapur, etc., and Paike of Odisha also joined the Chuad rebellion in June, and this made the situation more worse for the Britishers. Now the Britishers realized that we have to reconciliate with the tribals of this region, otherwise we will not be able to rule this region peacefully. So some kind of relaxation should be given to this people, and the Britishers were unable to suppress the rebellion due to the extent and due to the force of that rebellion. And the force the Britishers, this forced the Britishers to return the land of all the tribals as well as the facilities seized from them to the Chuad and Paike chieftains. So the leaders, the Jamindars or the village headmen of this region were reinstated. They were declared the king of their respective region, their respective land holding, and they had also been given some authority to adjudicate the local issues, as well as they were also being provided with the authority to collect the land rent also. So this was the reconciliation that was negotiated between the tribal leaders and the Britishers, right? So this was done. So here we finish off the discussion of these tribal revolts. Come again for the next video, and if you watch the video till here, then please consider subscribing the channel and press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload new videos, or whenever we live, then also you will get the notification. Thank you very much, and get back again to our channel when we upload the new videos. So here you can also follow us on our Facebook and Instagram handle. This is our Telegram channel. From there you will get many of the informations, reports, current affairs, questions, etc. Many of the study resources, free study resources are available on our app as well as website. Free tests are also available. So if you want, then you can get the benefit of these also. The link for these are provided in the description box below. Thank you very much and have a nice day.